Much easier than you think, because you have been after this for a while, and you are trying really hard. A lot of you are trying really hard to get from where you are to where you want to be. We just have a few things that we are wanting to convince you of, and it will not be difficult. And then we're going to show you what to do to soften that gap right away. So, over time, you've launched an amazing project, and it has come to full fruition, vibrationally speaking. That's part of the reason that you can feel such urgency or such irritation about it not fully manifesting for you, because it's big and it's bold and there's a lot of energy around it and it's moving in a very strong way. And so it's calling you, but you're not quite going to it because you are focused too much, and almost everyone does it, on the current conditions that haven't been completely realized. And so the conditions feel like the absence of it. The conditions that you're observing feel like something that is missing rather than something that is there. So when the condition feels like it's missing rather than there, and you try harder and harder and harder, what happens without meaning to is you practice the vibration of its absence rather than the vibration of its presence. That's why we said earlier that the vortex, you can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, but you can feel it. So we have a process for you. It's new and it's powerful. This process is about the uncondition of something, because the condition, when you think about it, the condition of something is what you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching. But we want you to focus unconditionally. You hear people talking about unconditional love. We want to talk about unconditional love in its fullest sense. We want to talk about unconditional alignment with your dream. We want to talk about unconditional clarity and unconditional fun. In other words, we want to talk about finding the fun before the condition. We want to talk about finding the feeling of it even before the manifestation. But you see, you are like almost everybody else. You're not used to doing that. You're used to there being a condition that you're responding to. So if it's a condition that pleases you, you have a good feeling response. And if it's a condition that doesn't please you, you have a bad feeling response. If it's a condition that's missing, you have a bad feeling response. And then, humans, we love you so much. You set out to control the conditions of the world, which you cannot do. If there were any chance of you controlling the conditions to find your love or to find your clarity, we'd be teaching you how to do that, but it doesn't work that way. You must find the feeling apart from the condition. And when you do, the condition must morph to support the emotion, the vibration that you have discovered. Does that make sense to you? Esther has been writing this process for a little while. We're just going to give you some examples of it. So something will happen that she's not happy about. A condition that is not pleasing. Oh, she can go down the road like it shouldn't be happening. Somebody should call somebody. They should be behaving better, whatever it is. So there's a condition that she knows that if it were different, she would feel better. So she writes the condition in all of its orneriness, whatever it is. This is the condition that I am faced with, or better said, that I am facing, that I'm focused upon. And then she writes, if this condition were to resolve itself right now, I would feel these things. And then she begins to write how she would feel. I would feel powerful. I would feel resolved. I would feel energized. I would feel proud. I would feel satisfied. I would feel fuller. I would feel invincible. I would feel creative. I would feel powerful, looping back around over and over on the ones that feel good to her. I would feel invincible. I would feel sure-footed. I would feel sure of myself. I would feel really, really good. And what she's beginning to notice is that as she writes those words, those emotions, as she focuses on those feelings that she would feel if the condition were different, even though the condition has not changed at all, she can produce those feelings. She could use her power to focus that emotion into place, which means she stops the resistance. She shifts the energy within herself. She creates a new vibrational atmosphere around her. So we've been saying to you for a while, you've been listening to us, you say. We've been saying, you're launching these rockets, they're in this vortex, but you're standing over here where everything you want is in a different vibrational frequency. So how are you going to get this to come over here where you are? How are you going to realize it? Well, the first realization is the emotion. So as you're able to focus in a way where you feel fun and you feel sure and you feel proud and you feel eager and you feel solid, you feel better, even though the condition hasn't changed yet, you have vibrationally changed, and it is our promise to you. That has to move over here where you are. It has to come into your experience. Your realization of it will be full and fast once you accomplish that. But you can stay all day this day and the next and the next and the next for decade after decade after decade in vibrational resistance to things that you already own, to things you've already created. That's why it feels so big to you. You know at so many levels of your being that you own this, that it is done. Why isn't it not manifesting? The only reason it is not manifesting is because you are aware that it is not manifesting. So if you begin to look, been listening to us for a while, hear these words, they are new for you. If you will accept that the emotion that you are able to conjure right here and now is the first line of manifestation. On its heels will be thoughts and ideas and contacts and dollars and doors opening. It's law. It has to be.
Thank you. I'm practicing on this idea and being the emotion and being in this vortex, and that brought me to other projects that don't fit with what I'm in working for 15 years and are themselves a big contradiction to the whole project.
But it isn't. You see, it's the path as clearly as you can see it. It's the path as clearly as you can see it. We'll give you a really scanty, not very satisfying analogy. Esther is looking for a golden pen. She cannot find it anywhere. She knows it is in her possession somewhere, but she cannot find it. She turns the house upside down. She even moves from one house to another. She opens every box. She cannot find it. She reaches in every pocket and looks in every handbag and then concludes, my beautiful golden pen is gone. And so she lets it go. Not happily, but she lets it go. And then in a day or two, she is looking for something else, a little contraption that sprays perfume. And she reaches in to a handbag that she had searched 7 times looking for the pen and came out with the pen. Because you can't find something that is lost. Your vibrational frequency does not allow it. The laws of the universe will make sure you do not find what you are looking for if you do not believe that you can find what you are looking for. So, but there is another piece to this. It's easy to say that you're on the wrong path, but you never ever are. You are never on the wrong path. You are always on the right path. You are always on the right path. And what we mean by that is you are always on the path that you are most allowing. So hear this. Did you hear us when we said that the source within you knows where everything you want is and knows where you are in relationship to it and knows the path from where you are to where it is, knows the path, and is offering suggestions to you, emotional suggestions, ideas, offering them to you constantly? Well, sometimes you're just not in the vibrational mood to hear it. So you don't hear it, but you hear something. We just want you to accept that whatever it is you are hearing, if you will trust that you are hearing, will eventually lead you to a firmer, more obvious path. but there's something stuck in your vibrational craw. It's true for all of you. You want to go directly from where you are to where you think you want to be.
Right.
And your inner being does not want you to miss all of the fun. Your inner being does not want you to miss all of the things along the way, all of the other things that are really essential to the big picture that you have at the other end. Sometimes your biggest criteria is just get there fast, when there are all kinds of elements that you want to develop within you that will all be part of the bigger picture, because this isn't just a path to that. This is a path to that, to that, to that, to that, to that, to that, to that. And the source within you knows the whole big picture. You're only looking on the temporary picture, you see. And so, if you were going on vacation, you're going to go to several different places. Really a nice itinerary all lined up, and you say, well, I'm here and I'm going to go there and there and there and there and there and there and there, and I'm going to come back home. And then you say, wait, home is my final destination and I'm already there, so why go? Why bother? Why bother with all of that? Because all of that's just going to lead to this anyway. But you don't go on the vacation to get it done. You go for the insight, you go for the expansion, you go for the new ideas, you go for the creative juices, you go for the rendezvous, you go for the clarity, you go for the impetus, you go for the momentum, you go for all of those things that are all part of it, you see. So if we could just zap you with what we know about your project, this is what we would zap you with. It's for sure. Have fun on the way. The only reason you're not having fun is because it's not showing up right now, and then you doubt. If you knew it was for sure, wouldn't you be having more fun along the way? Well, it's for sure. It's for sure. And when you get there, at the other end of it, you're going to say, oh, now I see that. Now I see that. Now I see that. And we know you want somebody to give you all of that now. And we are giving it to you to the degree that you can hear it, to the degree that you can realize it, you see. You really don't want all the punchlines right away. Enjoy the joke. If there's not some satisfying setup, then there's no satisfaction at the end. So enjoy the satisfying setup. Enjoy the satisfying setup. We'll hear you. Do you believe that you are the creator of your own reality?
I am.
And do you believe that through life you've put lots of components there?
Oh, lots.
And do you believe that the source within you knows every one of them and that they are all important?
They're so important.
And do you believe that as they unfold, as they are realized by you, started to say as they reveal themselves to you, but that's not the point. They are revealing themselves to you. As you relax and allow this revelation and this realization and this realization and this realization, don't you just want to eat up that path? Don't you just want it to last forever and ever and ever? Don't you want to never get to the end of it? Don't you want it to just keep exploding with new wondrous things, new expansion?
There's so many projects that will follow and are following and are already on the way, and I already see them.
So if you're eating a delicious meal, really a delicious meal, and you look over there and there's another one going on over there, and there's another one going on over there, there's another one going on over there. Do you really care about those as long as this one is satisfied? That's the feeling that we want you to embrace. We want you to try to reach for that feeling of satisfied with where I am and eager for more. Have you ever gone to a movie that took you on an emotional roller coaster and just wore you out? It ended happily, but you were exhausted by the time it was over. And now you've taken a friend to see the same movie, but you're not having the emotional roller coaster because you know what's at the end. We know what's at the end. In other words, that's why we're steady in our awareness of where you're going. You've got to reach for the steadiness that we know. You've got to stop freaking out over the things you don't know and reach for the steadiness. Reach for the unconditional steadiness. You got to reach for the emotion of steadiness and certainty and sureness and absoluteness and invincibility. You got to reach for those feelings and then watch what happens. The other day, because we've been talking a lot about this unconditional love stuff, and Esther likes to call it unconditional clarity and unconditional fun, unconditional alignment, all of those other words that mean the same thing. So she's sitting on her porch in Texas, overlooking the pool. And everything she sees is more beautiful than it has ever looked before. The pool itself, the trees around it, the birds in the trees, the statues that have been created that are standing next to the pool. Everything is so beautiful. Esther cannot believe how beautiful it is. She can hardly stand how beautiful it is. And then she says, Abraham, wait a minute. Those are conditions, every one of them. That pool is a condition. It's infinity edge and it's zero edge. Those are conditions. The statues are conditions created by a magnificent artist. The tree, hundreds of years old, it is a condition. What are you talking about, unconditional love? I'm focused upon conditions and I feel love. And we said, well, you are focused upon conditions, but you were feeling love before you focused on them. You were unconditionally aligned, and that's why in this moment they look more beautiful to you than they have ever looked before. That condition isn't producing the love. You found the love first, and then you were able to see those conditions through the eyes of Source. And there's a very big difference. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? You find the alignment with Source, and then you look where you're looking. And then you're going to love where you are, and you're going to love the new ideas that find you. You're going to love the feeling of the path beneath your feet. You're not looking for the path. It's there. You are realizing the path, you say. Feel the difference. It is a difference, isn't it? So then, just lighten up. Be easier about it. Have more fun in it. If it's a sure thing, then effort. Effort is not your friend. Effort's what you do when you don't believe. Effort's what you do. You try really, really hard when you don't know that you've got the energy that creates worlds at your back. You try really, really hard when you don't understand the source energy is right there and that it's all lined up and all you got to just do is relax and find your path or realize your path. Trying is your indication that you're not going with the flow. And so often you do that. You work so hard. You work so hard. You try to use your effort and your action and your hours and your hard work and your stamina and your grit and your determination to cover up energy that's misaligned. Cut it out. Focused upon the energy first. It's easy to do. You just got to practice it a little bit and then watch what happens. And as those manifestations are realized, and they will be soon, as those manifestations are realized, the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of worthiness and the feeling of right place, right time and the feeling of all things in perfect order and the feeling of it all will descend on you simultaneously as you realize you're blessed and always have been. You just haven't been letting it flow quite like you can. Helpful?
Vielen Dank. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very good.